Hi, my name's Jack Hodgins. Welcome back to my channel. I'm in my freezing cold garage this evening, and just wanted to do a quick video to. It was a quick video. I had a comment about what's the best wind speeds to film in, and I know the Phantom has a limitation, which is one of its features. It'll fly, and it's recommended up to 10 miles per hour on wind speeds, so that's the safest speed to fly at. I've flown mine at 10 miles an hour speed winds, and when the winds do hit the Phantom, you do end up having it flying at an angle like this, where the wind's blowing at this angle, and where I'm actually trying to go the opposite way, I'm actually in this sort of, well, as you can see, that sort of angle all the time. I can't get it to stay flat. It's fighting all the time, and you're pushing so much against the wind that way, trying to keep it going that way, that direction. It's very difficult, because you find that you end up fighting against the wind and doing all this moving, and it's not very good for the picture shot. And I found it's terrible shooting in that sort of type of winds. So 10 mile an hour, not very good. You can try it out. I mean, it's one of these things that I do is fly up, try the different wind speeds, check I mean, I use an app on my iPhone, and I'm sure there's apps on the Android phones out there as well. I will check the weather, what the weather's going to be like the next day, or on the day basically. And it should actually give you the roughly wind speeds. And look at wind speeds roughly, there's anything up to about 7 miles per hour you should be okay with. Anything over that, then obviously there's no point going out. You could give it a go. I mean, it's one of these sort of things. Try it out, you know. Take it up and have a go, because that's how I basically learn what is good, what's not basically, and I advise you guys. But anything between 0 and 3 miles per hour is good. It's good for flying with. You're not fighting against it. But you can actually use those type of wind speeds. So if you are flying up in the air and you're hovering in GPS and it's staying exactly the same, that's great. And obviously the wind speeds are not affecting the Phantom itself. The GPS is probably doing its job, it's keeping it straight. But if you do find the wind speeds are slightly bit higher, and it's enough to move the Phantom in one direction, that way I suppose, or the other way, use that when you start filming. So rather than you fly in that direction, allow the wind to blow in that direction as you're capturing a nice perfect shot, and then just use your controls to turn it around, so you get like an angle shot. So as it's going in one direction, you're putting a little bit of angle on it, and the next thing it's flying in that direction, and then you get a nice smooth shot of that sort of angle shot you're doing. So if you've particularly got a building or something in front of you and you're high up in the air, and the camera's obviously pointing down at that object, and you want to go that way around it, and the wind is actually pushing that direction, allow it to push in that direction. All you need to do is actually just add on the turning for it to go round, and you'll find that it's a perfect way of doing it. Let the wind do the little bit of the work for you, and you find that's perfect, getting nice shots. So you're not actually trying to fight against it or trying to keep it in place. Just allow it to do it. And then rotate your Phantom round to see if it blows it the opposite direction. So when you do another fly past back around the opposite way, the wind's doing that for you. I find that brilliant. I've done it on the Winchester House filming I did up in Bracknell. As soon as you get quite high up, I've noticed wind speeds when you get up to like 10 feet, you get one sort of wind against you. It's just normal. And as soon as you start going up higher, the wind tends to be very much a bit more breezier than below. The best way, another good tip is look for trees nearby, you fly nearby, that are higher than what you're flying at the moment, and look at the top of the trees to see if they're actually, how much is blowing, see how much the branches or the leaves are blowing, to give you a rough idea how breezy it is up there. And that's how a good way I'm telling it, where I fly that height, it's going to be more breezy than it is flying a bit lower, and you get a bit of an idea. And the other thing I find is there's pockets of air as you go up, and you notice when your Phantom's flying upwards, if it starts doing this business and then it stabilises out, it means you've hit a pocket of air and you've got through to the next bit up. And I find that sometimes these can be an issue, because when you're up a certain level and you're coming down, you obviously come through these pockets of air as well. I found that my Phantom was doing this, and it was going crazy. I thought at one time it was going to flip over, because it was actually like this, as you see what I'm doing now. It was that mad. And the only thing I could do is I stopped ascending downwards. I decided to start going back up again. So as I flew back up, it started stabilising itself out. As soon as it got stabilised and it was flying straight again, I then descended down gently But if you still find it's doing this, coming down again, don't force it down, because you might force it into a flip, or because it's like fighting against a lot of different sort of forces. It might then try and do this trick, which I also try and do, right? It's hard to explain it. Is normally when you're descending down, you might just do it in front of you. Fly it forward a little bit so it's a bit away from you. Instead of coming straight down, fly towards you, so bring it back towards you. And as you do it, descend it down at the same time, so it's coming down at an angle. When it gets nearer to you, then take it forward away from you, and then again going down. So you end up doing this motion, going down like that, and you find the air pockets don't, because you're actually sort of flying in an angle through it and back down again. And you find that works a treat. That's another way of getting past those things. So I've actually had it really mad, and I thought I was going to flip. I've tried things like going straight up again and then carrying back down again. There's a place in Bracknell that it up to about 15-20 feet, it was still as a bird, no wind speed at all. As I started getting higher, it started blowing about quite a bit, and I had that issue, and this was coming down. And that's when I tried different things. I was trying all sorts of things, like I've tried that scenario, which worked fine. I've come straight down, and it's done this. I've just flown back up again, it's stabilised, and then I then slowly came down again, basically, as well. And those sort of tricks work. So try those sort of things, just bear in mind as well. So use wind speed, as long as it's low wind speeds, help you to film and move your craft about, which gives you nice still footage. If you get into a lot of trouble coming down, then obviously use those techniques to get through the pockets of air, basically. And I found that each time you go up, higher you go, the air changes and the wind speed changes. So it's not as up there, is not as, it could be more windy than it is that you see. So use trees to get a rough idea how far they're actually blowing about, whether the whole tree is bending with the wind blowing, and you sort of know up there it's too high, too much winds. And just again, just sort of common sense really it is. And that's my technique of flying the Phantom and getting it down. I suppose it's for anything really. If you've got hexacopter as well, I suppose it's the same. So if you find it's going crazy, don't ever keep coming down. Take it back up. Don't force it straight up fast. Gently to bring it back up slowly until it sort of stabilises itself out. Because you've got GPS on all the time anyway, so it's going to sort of try and keep its position as best as possible. And then try again coming down gently, and then obviously try those movements coming down. So see if that actually helps too. So that's my technique of flying. But again, I would keep in wind speeds no more than 7 miles per hour. Just keep it that sort of. That's what I would recommend. That's my way of flying. But again, you guys might be different. Try things out. Be a bit experimental like I do. Try things out. Don't try it more than 10 miles an hour, because it is crazy. It'll just blow away, and then you'll end up losing it. Because with GPS mode on, or even with manual mode on, no GPS, the wind will just blow it. And if the wind speeds are too hard, I know a particular time it was 10 miles an hour speed, it was at that angle and it was going at that direction, and I couldn't bring it back to myself. So I started bringing it down basically. So the wind can be a bit too much and carry it away, and it will be a flyaway. So, but other than that, it is practice and seeing what works for you guys. If you're going to do any of these flying techniques and stuff, and you're your first time flyer, don't take it straight up. I've seen a lot of people that's literally just got their Phantom to start with, and they've literally taken it out onto the fields, and they're flying it really high up in the air and stuff. Stay low, stay under sort of 20 feet, 30 feet, or even just above your head. Get used to the controls, get you flying. But if you've got a Phantom Vision Plus, see with the Phantom 2s, which you use your GoPro, you can just take the gimbal off and just fly it manually without the gimbal on it. But with the Phantom Vision Plus, it comes all built on. So you look at my channel where I've showed you how to disassemble the gimbal. I will take this off, put it to one side. I will get some a little bag, fill up with some sugar to the same weight as the gimbal itself. Strap it to your quad, but underneath, so it's still got the payload. What would be if the gimbal was on it, so that you get to fly. You get to fly in it at the weight it feels like, because flying this to my other Phantom, which is say it's got no gimbal, this is much lighter, and the wind will affect it quite a lot. So it's a different flying to this Phantom here. So because this has got a lot less payload, so it's going to be lighter in the air. The wind's going to affect this more. With no payload on the bottom there, this would probably struggle with 10 mile an hour wind speeds. They are completely different in weight, so I would weigh this down with a bag of sugar underneath, same weight as the gimbal, so you get to fly at the same sort of light as your camera would be when it's mounted, because this is really light flying with, and this is quite scary because I'm used to this sort of weight flying. This just gets blows everywhere, so that's my recommendation, is do something to weigh it down to give it the same weight it would be if the gimbal was already on it, and try it out. If you crash it, doesn't matter, because all these bits, batteries replaceable, the shell's replaceable, landing gear, nuts, bolts, screws, motors, they're all replaceable, all within budget to buy, and everything inside. The only expensive part on the Phantom is obviously the gimbal, because they don't sell parts. It's all in one. It's all as one unit. It's about £500 to replace, and obviously the flight controller in there is probably a couple £100 to replace as well. But everything else, I mean, I've had a couple of crashes, 2 crashes in fact. One was my fault, because I got orientation confused. I thought I was going left, I was actually going right, so I was steering it into the trees. It did come down and crash. I bent this arm up slightly, so it was bowed, so the blades were touching the top, so I had to buy a new shell because I couldn't snap that back because it's plastic. Lucky enough, the gimbal survived that one, so that was okay. So it only cost me £45 to get it back up in the air again. And the second time I crashed it, which is on my video, one of the blades just flew off, took off. So I don't know how, but it took off. And doing a lot of running, a lot of investigation on it, I can't see any reason why, unless I didn't tighten that on tightly enough. It spun off because it only had 3 blades. It did a dive like that, straight down, and somehow it still landed on its side impact. Obviously smacked my gimbal, which basically broke my gimbal, so hence why I've now just got my Phantom without the gimbal on it. So then I brought a new one, basically, because I looked at ways and cons. I was going to buy a new Phantom anyway to have a spare backup, but I looked at the cost of replacing the gimbal, it's £500. For another £500 added to that, I got a full new with the new props this time, because I know I was going to upgrade that one with the new props and the EC controllers and the compass. So I thought, well, all those bits might add up to the same amount of price, so I might have put towards a new Phantom, which is what I've done, basically. So now with that in mind, for this Phantom, I can now model up, do different things on there. Again, if you guys think some suggestions, I know I've done a video on the quick release, which is here, and I've spoken to the company that does the quick release, and I'm going to actually be purchasing, apparently he's one of my subscribers, so if you're out there, hi mate, I will actually order the quick release off of you. So I like to get that mounted on here, show how it fits on there, and I can get my GoPro on the bottom of this, so then we can have a Phantom Vision, because apparently enough that works through the same app on the phone as well. And a quick one, if you do to remove the gimbal off the bottom of your Phantom, you can't use the app, because the app is really for the camera, it's not used for flying. So it still flies fine with the controls, so the only thing is you won't be using the app. So all you need to do is make sure you're on the controller, make sure this is switched off, because this actually is the wireless video communication to the Phantom for the camera. So because it's not on there anymore, you don't need that switched on. Just turn your controls on as normal and your Phantom, and fly, and it's fine. It doesn't affect it at all. So and that's quite good. It's quite a weird sensation flying with no camera on the bottom. But yeah, so I'm gonna get quick release installed, fitted. Comes in a couple of sections. The main board screws on first, which these cables plug into. Then you buy the quick release, and then you need to buy obviously your GoPro, and then you need to buy the actual 3-axis gimbal, which is DJI sells it, which then that other slide bit clips onto it, and then obviously it slides on there. But we'll do a video of that showing you. It's quite a nice one. So if you have got a Phantom you crash and you can't afford, well, in theory, that's the other thing, is cost wise, £500 for a new gimbal from DJI, and you can fit it straight on there, right, back to normal. Quick release with the right, yeah, it gives you an option to still use the Phantoms own one and a GoPro. But if you're thinking about saying, I don't want to fit a Phantom, I just want to fit a GoPro on it, and I don't want to spend so much money, you are spending around about the same amount of money, because if you haven't already got a GoPro, you're looking at 329 quid for a decent GoPro, you're looking for a couple £100 for the gimbal, and then you're looking at about £49 for the sleeve to go onto the gimbal, then you're looking at 249, about 200 odd quid, another 200 odd quid for the actual quick release to go on the bottom of here. Then you got up and running. So in theory, that's the same price as actually buying a new gimbal for the Phantom. So do you want your Phantom shooting GoPro 4, 4K? Then that's a good way, quick release. But if you just want to shoot normally 1080p, then it's easy enough just to purchase one of those. But I will show the quick release anyway, because I think it's quick release is a good idea, because you can still later on buy, if you've got money to burn, buy a replacement, and then you can decide on your Phantom, with the quick releases in place, you can slide one or the other on, which is quite, I think it's quite a nifty idea. But we'll get one, we'll try it out, and we'll do a review on it. But I'm going to do quite an in-depth review. We'll do a lot of testing with it as well, and then get you guys comment on it and see what you think. But everything I'll do now, all my testing stuff I'm going to do, all the new stuff, is going to be all up on my website. So check out my website, which is below. Well, I should say it's along here, basically. And my email address. Keep commenting on stuff. Keep subscribing. So I've got lots of stuff coming up, and I've got quite a lot of new videos coming up shortly as well. And yeah, one quick question, guys. If you're into music and gaming and stuff, I have a quick product I just purchased. I just got into gaming on the PS4. Get yourself a set of these. These are Stealth 400 headphones, come with a mic piece so you can do voice and video recording. It's wireless for your PS4 or your PS3 or your Xbox or your PC or your Mac, and also you can use these on your iPhone or Android device, and the sound quality on this is pucker, absolutely nice. Doing some more reviews on headphones, by the way, because I've got a new channel coming online soon, which is more game for gaming. So I'm going to be looking at a lot of these type headphones, finding which is the best of the best. And I will have some of them spare to give away for prizes on both channels. So keep watching, and I will let you know on this channel when that channel goes live. Alright, so until then, fly and be safe, keeping the regulations of the UK laws, so because this is a hobby and we don't want to killing a hobby off, and fly safe, and speak to you next one. Cheers.